I just released FluidTouch version 1.0.3, so I just wanted to give a quick little video to show you what was changed. First, I'll mention that there was a fix related to MDNS resolution. So if you access your controller via fluidnc.local or similar, that was working for me, but it wasn't always working for everyone. So instead of having to use a IP address, this will now work better as it's resolving those. The next major one had to do with the display flickering. This was something that for me was fairly minimal. I mostly saw it when I was running a job, but for some it was very severe. This affected both the basic display and the advanced display. I made some major changes and that seems to be resolved now. So if I run a file, you shouldn't see any flickering on this screen where it was an issue before. That's not to say that there's zero flickering. You may see brief flickering in some places, like when it's first connecting to Wi-Fi or if you're saving settings or things like that. But overall, it's vastly improved. The other item that was fixed, at least for most people, is the basic display was somewhere having issues where touch wasn't working. This is another one of those ones that's a bit frustrating as a developer in that it worked fine on my display, so I couldn't reproduce it, but I made some changes that appear to have resolved it. Another thing I wanted to note is that I did add support for version 1.2 of the Electro Advanced screen. Previously just the current version, which is 1.3. The only difference that matters for this has to do with the backlighting. So I have not tested this, but it probably works. If you have a 1.2 display and you try this out and it works or doesn't work, let me know. The other item that I changed had to do with the working coordinate systems. So in the previous release, I changed it so that you could use this button to pick a different work coordinate system. What was added for this release is these labels. So I added a label as an example, G54, I put a default label. Maybe you have a fixture at G55 and maybe you have an L bracket at G56, or maybe you use another working coordinate system for a rotary. You can now go in and put a label so it's a little bit more meaningful as to what it is. You'll notice these lock icons. So if you set work coordinate offsets, you probably don't want to accidentally change them. So what I did is if you have coordinate system active that you put a lock on and you go to 0 something, which maybe you really want to 0Z because the position is just X and Y, it will now prompt you when you are doing probing or zeroing to make sure you want to do that. You can hit continue and it'll go ahead and do that, but it at least tries to prevent you from accidentally changing those positions. These are configurable over on a new settings tab, down on settings and under WCS. Here's where you can enter in whatever label you want for it, and you can choose to lock it or unlock it. And that is that feature. The other changes are related to upload. If you have an SD card in the display, you can use it to upload those files. So if you go to Files and you pick the Display SD, and you have an option to upload it. Now what it does is it uploads it onto the SD card on the controller in a FluidTouch uploads directory. And previously what would happen is if you didn't create that directory in advance, it would just silently fail. So now when you do it, it'll automatically create that directory. And I also added this open upload folder button so that it'll navigate right to that directory if you want to then go ahead and run it right away. And that is what the updates were. Like I said, that display flickering fix was a major one, and it looks great now. And that improved it on both the basic and the advanced hardware. The only other thing that I'll note of something I'm working on is a 3D printed case, which is what this is. You can see, it has a slot out for the SD card. I have it so that there is a power switch to turn it on and off. And on the back, I don't know if you can see this, but it has holes down to the LED indicators. So the one that is red right now is the power indicator, and the green one is the charge indicator. This is fully charged, but I will unplug it. That'll go out. Over on this side, there are buttons for the reset and boot buttons, and they are inset just a little bit, so they're easy to push, but they're hard to accidentally push. So I'm still working on this. There's a couple things I have to tweak yet, but pretty happy with how it's come out. I will note that this can support a battery of up to 10,000 milliamp hours, which is what's in this right now, which is way more than you need for this, but I wanted to give options. But that's going well, and hopefully I have that ready soon. As always, if there's any issues, create an issue on the GitHub page and we'll take a look. Thanks.